Manse Macabre is a turn-based haunted house game for PC, Linux, Mac.
And you can play either as the explorers who are investigating the haunted house,
or the denizens of the haunted house who don't like visitors just dropping by unannounced. Manse is set in Manse, which is an enormous, sort of ever-changing,
a sprawling Gothic mansion that rearranges itself and possibly even builds itself.
or a giant series of haunted houses, or a nexus of multi-dimensional haunted houses all co-occupying the same space.
Rooms upon rooms that disappear and reappear, you never know.
One of the interesting things is that neither side knows what the other is bringing into the game as the game starts. So the intruders don't know what kind of denizens they're going to be facing. Now on the flip side, the denizens of the house have no idea what the intruders are trying to do.
You take your turn, you set your guys, you move them where they're going to be.
And you can either play it in a random game, and it's different every time, different setup, different maps, different locations for the monsters. Or you can play through a series of tightly scripted and cool stories, missions that tell the entire...
The decades-long reign of terror that Manse has gone through.
And those stories, you alternate playing as intruders and denizens. So you sort of get both sides of the history of the house. And as you go through, the inspiration that we've taken for each of these scenarios comes from horror movies of that era. So we start with
scientific monsters and various Faustian deals that took place in this house.
And we move all the way up to stories inspired by Paranormal Activity and Saw. If we do not get this game out by Halloween, there's this weird thing with the contract we signed for the funding. It's sort of like this kind of dire curse.
Something will claim our souls.
Maybe wasn't a great idea. Should look at that. Mob Games is a small, I would go so far as to say tiny company composed of 3 full-time individuals, myself, Rick Dagan,
one writer, developer, one artist, one coder,
Austin McKinley.
I bring the characters to life, and then I kill them and reanimate their corpses. I'm kind of a necromancer for sprites.
And Jonathan Wills.
He's really kind of a ghost in the machine. We never see him. We're not actually sure that he exists.
And we are a worker-managed, worker-owned, entirely open business, open source, Creative Commons.
Our budget and schedule is all open.
We feel that we'll build a better relationship with our customers, and we also just think it's cool. So the look of the game is obviously, we think, very striking. It's black and white with some red thrown in there, inappropriate bloody points.
With black and white, certainly in a computer art context, I can't use traditional mediums like I would ordinarily, you know, quill pen dipped in my own blood.
I thought back to this book of Edgar Allan Poe stories that had been illustrated by Harry Clark.
A lot of sort of elongated figures and creepy textural stuff.
Those had stayed with me as just super creepy images, almost formative. What my parents were doing giving me that book, I have no idea, but they'd made an impression.
Edward Gorey, who did a lot of kind of pioneered the gothic, creepy, cute kind of look.
Clark and Gorey are the main inspiration for that black and white, sort of crosshatch, sketchy, well, Austin will explain it.
I use a medium to contact their departed spirits and disturb their eternal slumber. I hate that.
I think it's a really cool look for a haunted house game, or for any game. I think the next Halo game is probably going to look that way too. Halo Manse Macabre. So we're doing this Kickstarter campaign to raise at least $25,000, which will let us, finish the game. We've already got about $42,500 from investment from the Lewis Charitable Foundation.
What we want to do now is get our audio in, do our bug fixing, do the rest of the polishing that we need to really put it over the top before we release it in October.
We are a good ways through finishing this game. By the time this Kickstarter ends, we will have actually implemented all the core features. We'll have a lot of the art assets in place. We'll still have a lot more art to do. We'll have a lot of polishing and bug fixing and testing to do. But this game is, even at this stage, totally a game that you can play and have fun with. So what we need is we need you to Give however much you want to give, but what you probably want to give is at least $5 because that's where you get a copy of the game when it comes out in October.
$5 gets you a copy of the game, and every $5 gets you another copy of the game, which you can give to your friends.
They make great Halloween presents. You don't even have to wrap them.
You can also use it to profit if you sell them for more than $5.
So if you give $25, you'll get 5 codes to download the game through indievania.com. You can give those codes away to your friends, you could sell them, you can do whatever you want, they're totally transferable. If we raise more, you'll get even more free stuff.
Please pledge on Kickstarter, help us finish up this game. You can go to our website, mobrulesgames.com, and see our progress. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter.
Schedule, budget, updates about the game, votes, everything is at mobrulesgames.com. Also, you have to register there to vote, so in this election year, it's important that we all register.